What's going on, everyone? The market blasted to the upside today, and a bunch of stocks ripped a lot higher than anyone was expecting. We have some great setups today, and even though it's a short week, this week is gonna be a great one. Tomorrow, we have NVIDIA earnings after the bell, we have an FOMC minutes report, and we have a whole lot more great price action set ahead for us. So we have a great week ahead of us, and we have a lot to talk about today as well. There was some crazy news with Microsoft on Friday, and Microsoft has made some pretty big decisions over the past 24 hours, so much so that they actually closed at a brand new all-time high today and have a very interesting situation on their hands. So stick with us all the way to the end, and with that being said, Tom, let's jump right into it.
Yeah, that market was fantastic today, Mike. I could not believe how it started breaking out to the upside and so early on as well. The SPY broke its channel from last week, which was awesome for me. I was waiting for that break above like 452. We finally saw that midday, and I'll say this, Mike, I did not expect it to get all the way to 455, though. Like, oh my gosh, it was one of the best days that we've seen in a while, and we've been seeing some pretty good ones, but just the fact that it was happening intraday was awesome. Like, some of these moves in pre-market kind of kill some of the thunder, but this was kind of like the move from Friday, November 10th. So I'm loving that, Mike. That intraday price action is looking fantastic, and like you said, NVIDIA made a new all-time high. But what was interesting to me today was Microsoft. They actually were tanking down like we talked about with that Sam Altman deal, and I'll say this, Mike, today they definitely dug themselves back out of the grave with some of the news that they did and some of the strategic stuff that they also pulled off with Altman.
You already know, so let's dive right into it. So basically, Microsoft has been relying on OpenAI quite a bit to really give Microsoft the upper hand when it comes to artificial intelligence. Basically, over the weekend, OpenAI just fell apart as a company as they basically fired their founder out of nowhere. Then the founder, which is Sam Altman, basically said, screw you guys, and then headed right over to Microsoft. And Microsoft, owns like 49% of OpenAI anyways, so like they just wanted to protect their investment. But now 700 of the 770 employees at OpenAI basically said they will leave OpenAI if Sam Altman does not become the CEO again. So now it's like OpenAI is kind of being destroyed from within. Microsoft has the founder of OpenAI and potentially 700 brand new artificial intelligence specializing employees, you can say. But it has been such a wild past couple days for OpenAI and Microsoft, and it's pretty clear that Microsoft shareholders don't mind.
Yeah, they really don't. And Mike, going over to the stock, I mean, that was quite the recovery today. And like you said, it actually closed at new all-time highs by the closing price. So that was really good to see. I was not expecting them to pull something off that quickly, but to get Altman back as swiftly as they did was awesome. And I'm glad that they did, Mike, because like you said, OpenAI is kind of... If 700 employees leave the company because of Altman not being reinstated, man, that company's pretty much gone. I mean, imagine that. That's like 90% of the workforce is gone at the, snap of your fingers.
Exactly, but either way, it looks like Microsoft found a way to get out ahead of this, and the stock is doing pretty good right now, so they should still have the upper hand when it comes to everything AI, and they're really running. But on a different note, there is another AI stock that everyone has their eyes on for tomorrow, and that is the powerhouse NVIDIA. Tom, tell us more about this one, and it's at a record high right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, new all-time highs, hitting $505 today. That was an amazing move. We go out to the daily chart. You can see it extending above that high back in August. So good to see there. And going back to the intraday chart, man, it was just like a rocket ship today, even towards close. It just kept powering higher and higher. And they are actually set to report earnings tomorrow in after hours. Everybody is watching this. We got so many questions today on Discord about it. So I wanted to pull up an article and kind of go over some of the numbers here with kind of what we're looking for. So NVIDIA is running up, right? And people are like, well, it's so overextended. it's overextended because people are valuing this company much higher than it is or than it should be, right? And look at this. Analysts are expecting to see year-over-year growth above 170%. I mean, that is nuts, Mike, on their earnings. I mean, that is an insane number. Then sales growth is expected to be near 200%. That is insane numbers. Like, imagine if Apple posted a growth number like that. I mean, people would, Apple would go insane. So it makes sense why NVIDIA keeps going. But man, Mike, I mean, $500. I didn't think it was going to break. But hey, the market proved me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, Apple hasn't even been growing their revenue. Their revenue's been shrinking. And then you have NVIDIA pulling, just like running laps on them. You know what I mean? 200% growth. That's insane. But, looking at Microsoft, I think this will really be the key factor for the market for like the next couple of weeks. Obviously, the market has been blasting for 2 to 3 weeks now, and if NVIDIA earnings are good, it can just turn on the rocket boosters even more and make this uptrend even more powerful. But at the same time, if the earnings reaction for NVIDIA disappoints, it can stop everything very quickly. So I think by far the most important event this week will be NVIDIA earnings. Not only will it be important for NVIDIA, but it will have a giant direct influence on the entire market.
Yeah, exactly. And like it says at the top of the article here, it's giving us kind of like a sneak peek into AI demand. And AI has been the big forefront of the market the past couple years. So it's going to be the biggest stock on radar. And hopefully it does good, Mike. But I'll say this, with them expecting such insane numbers, if it misses just a little bit, imagine the headline. NVIDIA misses, but imagine they'll still have growth like 150%, but that headline will look awfully bad, won't it?
Exactly, and that's why playing earnings is such like a tricky situation, because you can have a stock that posts great earnings, but it just wasn't good enough for the expectations, and you could still have the stock fall. That's why I like playing earnings after they report, but either way, this will be a very, very exciting event, so make sure to mark it down on your calendar for tomorrow. But Tom, we have a couple other stocks set to report this week as well.
Yeah, so we actually have Zoom tonight and after hours. We'll have to see how they end up opening up tomorrow. And then tomorrow in pre-market, we have Kohl's, KSS, Lowe's, Best Buy, and a China stock, Baidu. So a couple of those are kind of like retailers like Best Buy and Lowe's, Kohl's. But Baidu will be interesting for the China stocks. And I even like DKS, Dick's Sporting Goods, is kind of interesting too. Heading into the holidays, I think some of these companies could be pretty interesting here.
Sounds great. And then for tomorrow as well, we do have the FOMC minutes report at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Basically, these events have moved the market in the past, and it is more of like a detailed recap of what Jerome Powell and the Feds were thinking when they made their most recent interest rate decision. So keep a close eye on that as well. It will move the markets. But with that being said, Tom, let's get right into some setups and predictions for tomorrow. A stock I'm watching pretty closely is Citigroup, and it is to the upside. Bank stocks have been flying lately, and these types of stocks tend to move like relatively consistently over the course of like multiple weeks at a time. It has been on a great uptrend, and while it is a little bit overbought in the short term, if we can see a break of like the high right around like $45 and we'll say like 75 cents per share, I think this one can keep rolling. So it's going to be close on my radar tomorrow.
Yeah, these bank stocks have really been running to the upside like crazy. I don't blame you for going after Citigroup, and they've definitely continued to run here today. So I'll keep it on the radar, Mike, for tomorrow as well. And I have to go with a fun stock that we've been watching for the past couple of weeks, and that is Penn Gaming. They had another nice run today. Again, it's another stock that in the short term, it's pretty overextended, right? But a lot of these stocks, I mean, look at NVIDIA. I mean, how much more overextended can you get? But Penn is running to the upside pretty well, and I'll be watching it tomorrow for another potential move up. It's getting positive reactions with the stock ever since ESPN Bet has been launched, and with the hype associated with that, it's been pretty good lately. So keep Penn on the radar for a breakout around like 26.50.
Tom, I have to give it to you. You've been on fire with this one. You've been talking about Penn to the upside for how many weeks or months now? You know what I mean? You won't stop talking about it. But yeah, great job, and it has been flying.
Yeah, I know, right? And Penn Gaming, the big thing with them is they had the positive earnings, and then they had the ESPN bet. It was like a double whammy with those events, and it like flipped the script. And a lot of these stocks that are starting to recover are flipping those scripts, kind of like those bank stocks starting to come up a lot now.
Good stuff. Alrighty, another stock I'm watching pretty closely is Boeing. So this stock has kind of a wild history. Sometimes it does amazing, sometimes it does absolutely horrible, and sometimes it does nothing, right? But it's just crazy, right? And Boeing has been moving to the upside in a pretty great way lately. It had around almost a 5% up day. And they've also had some pretty good news lately as well. They have a lot of momentum, and I'm watching this one pretty closely to the upside. I will say this, though. You know, sometimes in Boeing's uptrends, we do see like a pullback for a couple days. So, you know, just be aware of that, of course. But realistically, if we can see like a nice break above like 219, I think this one has a good shot at continuing higher.
Yeah, I really like it, Mike. Boeing's really ran up, and just stick around for that bot play that'll be coming up here in just a little bit, guys. The bot really killed it on Boeing today. But with my next play, I'm going with NIO, and this is actually kind of continuing off of that big money play that we saw a couple weeks ago, Mike, with the 9-strike calls out to June. I'll be watching this one closely. NIO bounced again off of this support around $7 to $7.30, and it's still holding higher here. So it started to get another green day today, and if we see a nice continuation tomorrow, keep it on the radar if it breaks $8. It was right around that high of day today. It's a nice whole dollar mark, and a few of these China stocks are starting to come back up finally.
Love to see it. All right, well, with that being said, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. And with the first one, we have Coinbase to the upside.
Yeah, Coinbase had a great day today running. They actually broke $100 this morning, and look at that breakout. So if they break 106.50 tomorrow, watch for that continuation.
All right, now with the next one, we have Intel also to the upside.
Mike, Intel has been under the radar the past 2 weeks. Look at this move here. If they end up breaking above $45 even tomorrow, then look at another runner. This thing has been insane lately.
There we go. And then with the last one, we have Netflix for both directions.
Yeah, so Netflix actually closed pretty high. So if they're able to break that high of day at like 476.75 and that market keeps going, look at some calls to the upside with them. But if that market does end up pulling back a little bit tomorrow and Netflix gets under 470 even, then go ahead and look at puts. I would not be surprised if they fell down and retested 465 if there was a big pullback.
All right, well, we have that downside level for puts, and we have the upside level for calls, and this is for Netflix. Don't forget about the upside levels for Intel and Coinbase as well. Keep these stocks close on watch tomorrow, and they are plays only if they break the levels Tom listed. If they don't break, then find a new opportunity. But with that being said, let's get right into the big money $1.7 million trade of the day. This one is definitely bigger than usual, and it is the Bank of America 32 strike call options that expire on February 16th of 2024. Basically, the big money trader put $1.7 million into these call options, betting that Bank of America will go up. These call options have some time to them. They're relatively close to the money. We've seen a ton of inflows into bank stocks lately, and bank stocks are at relatively low levels as well. And if we see a rotation out of tech and into other areas of the market that have been kind of stuck in the mud, banks have a lot of upside potential. So either way, I think this setup's pretty solid, and I'm going to be following this one pretty closely over the coming weeks and months.
And you know, one other thing I really like with banks over the next coming couple weeks and couple months, and especially heading into next year, is really the fact that yields are starting to fall down. You know, we go look at TNX, which, you know, kind of looks at the 10-year yield there. Again, today, a pretty good move to the downside. It's getting lower and lower and lower here. If these yields keep going down, that might mean that banks are, you know, going to do a little bit better. Maybe lending picks up, for example. So I'm really hoping that helps the banks, and it seems like the banks have really been inversing those yields here. As the yields are going down, those banks are really coming up. And the feds, as we know, are doing things to react, to make those yields react this way. So it's good for banks in that sense, too, if you think about it.
There we go. So I'm going to keep a close eye on this one going forward. But if you're into short-term trading, check this out. Today, our bots crushed it today with some Boeing call options. We had our sniper bot call out the Boeing 215 strike calls at $194 each. By the end of the day, they were trading for $480 each. Our Surge bot was talking about Boeing all day long as well. SM bot as well. Basically, if you're into short-term trading, our stocked up trading floor is the best thing you will find out there. We have bots that just crush it. We have a bunch of other screeners, technology, educational resources, weekly live events, and you can chat with Tom and myself all day long. The simplest way to put it is we have everything you could possibly need for short-term trading all in one nice spot, and Tom and I spend our lives in this community as well. So come join us. It'll be that first link in the description and the comments down below. The bot's been doing pretty well, and definitely strike while the iron's hot. So with that being said, Tom, we do have a pretty exciting week ahead of us. Even though it will be a short week, we have been seeing some great moves so far. So let's keep this momentum rolling.
Yeah, I know, right? This was an amazing day in the stock market. We have the S&P 500 breaking out to a new recent high, we'll say. It was good to get out of that channel from last week. NVIDIA, all-time highs. I still can't believe it, Mike. I wonder how high it'll get tomorrow heading into earnings. It might have one of those pre-earnings pumps. You know, sometimes these stocks that are doing hot kind of get that sometimes. So watch for that tomorrow, but obviously be careful playing it. You know, if you're playing options, there could be an IV crush. Don't forget, I know everyone's looking at NVIDIA, FOMC minutes. That could maybe play a role in the markets tomorrow too, 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Sounds great. And then last but not least, I want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Lee 199410 in Discord. His account is up, it's crazy, Tom, 419% just over the past month. So keep that momentum rolling, keep that risk managed, and keep it up. But overall, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, come join Tom, myself, and all of our bots in the stocked up trading floor. It's that first link in the description and the comments down below. And let's have an amazing week. Thanks for watching.